Hi, this is Chandler George, and I want to talk to you a little bit about self storage. Self storage is one of the most unbelievable businesses in real estate that you possibly can have. I've been involved with a lot of different types of real estate, and I can tell you self storage is simply the one that you can grow the most and have the least amount of time or effort involved typically. It's one that gives great freedom more than anything else. Even if you have managers and teams and you don't even necessarily employ them, they're 1,000 miles away and they do all the work. It's still better. I mean, your hardest part is one or two people, involved with it, and they're typically unregulated. And anyway, it's just simply the best thing to go. So, with all that being said, in October, the second weekend in October, 2021, yeah, this 2021, without a mask, 2021, wear one if you want. Here in the Dallas area, we are going to go over self-storage. Now, what we're going to do, it's going to be a two-day deal here. We're going to do 2 days. We're going to do like a Friday, Saturday, and post into Sunday morning. We're going to cover the operation piece, because even though you can have people work for you, maybe you want the job. Maybe you want to be an operator, right? You actually want to be an operator. I'd rather be the investor personally, but maybe you want to be the operator. So you need to know how the systems work, how the locks work, how all these different things work in a storage center big enough to actually just support a manager, versus all the ones you see out there today where people are cobbling together 6 or 7 little bitty ones where you're lucky to get one that will make enough money to do anything. That's not what I want for you at all. So there is a set structure to this. So we will cover all these different things first. We'll cover them so that when we go out on site on the field trip, it'll make sense and come to you quicker. I'm a big believer in not just learning and books learning, because it's worked best for me, but in actually getting out there and touching and feeling and seeing, and that'll make it stick, what we actually covered and went over. So it's fairly close to the Dallas area. We might have to drive 20 miles out or something to be able to get there. And when we do this, we're going to have then the speaking. We're going to have the information probably online, paper form if some folks need it that way, things that you can take home and get started with it initially. I'll tell you what this is not. What this is not is a syndication, or just give me your money and I'll invest it for you passively and you'll make some set small return. That's not what this is, or some return that could be maybe a little riskier or whatever it might be. That's not what this is. This is actually about having your own, right? Having your own, buying your own, specifically buying your own. You can certainly build your own. You can do that, and we can talk a little bit about that, but more about buying and why. And so that's kind of going to be the focus of it. So you can buy, you can build, and you can operate, but why stay out of certain areas and why stay in certain areas and the right way versus the wrong way to do it. Management, good or bad, typical percentages of management, all the ins and outs of it. And like I said, I see the different groups. I've been a part of these different groups. Some are here, $100,000 and I'll find you one. And some are, down here. I guess you might say we're somewhere in the middle, putting together the best. And this is our experience. I didn't come in as a real estate broker or somebody who naturally did real estate for a main living. I was a doctor. Still am a doctor. That's the first thing I did. That was the main thing I did. That was my main passion and main love. And then over time, as I retired from that, have become, over the last decade, real estate investing, real estate education, real estate teaching. And of course, this is what we do. So this isn't theory. This is actually what we do and have been doing now for going on 6 years. And we'd like to share it with you. Now, if this is something of interest to you, then by all means, however you see this video, in whatever form you see this video, email me, private message me, text me, call me, whatever you see in the box, and let me know that you would like to come. I'll then send you the landing page for it, and then you can make your decision there. Now, I'll also tell you this isn't inexpensive. And the reason I'm going to tell you that is because if you're a doctor or a healthcare provider or med spa owner or something like that, that typically I coach and consult, you're used to certain price points. This will not be that. And the reason why is because this will change your life more than almost everything else you've done before. I almost hate to tell you that, but it's true, having done all those things as well. And for the amount of investment, considering what y'all and me have invested in lasers and the machines and the equipment and the education and everything else, this actually is affordable. It's probably a whole lot less. So it's going to be $2,997, basically $3,000. But for that, you're going to have the education, you're going to have the network, and you're going to have the ability to see and know if this is right for you or not, or go forth. Now, even if you go through the associations and do that, they're going to be about the same price point for the ones where you're really going to get good information. But they're not going to be specific and somebody that you either know or can know. They're going to be generic from people they hire to bring in. So, and I'll let you know that because those are all good too. Those are all good options. The more you know, the better, right? In all of this, and I've taken all of those as well. So I'm really an education company, and so I'm giving you the best education and media to do with self-storage that we own, control, and work with. And I certainly want that for you, because in this day and age and how quickly things are changing under the policies of our country, you need to always stay ahead of inflation. You need to be able to do it without always physically working or having to always be there. You need to have more flexibility. How are you going to do that? Make a short list. Okay, I can't see your list, but I'll tell you mine. Businesses, preferably ones you didn't start from scratch, that you can get where it's truly a legitimate business, which by definition means you could be gone a month or more without you, and it would still make money and run fine. Some of y'all have that, most of you don't. And most of my life I didn't either. Even most of your real estate, you're probably more involved in than that. And if it's houses or something like that, well, those are awesome. You got to have a lot of them. Think 30, 40, or 50 if you're really going to replace your doctor, med spa, or whatever type of income. So that can be a little harder and a little unwieldy, and you're going to have to know a lot about real estate investing and be a semi-pro to be able to do it if you're not just using banks and different things like that. But self-storage is different, and I'll share with you why it's different. It's different in the loan structure. It's different what you can do. It's different in the fact it's not limited. And so for all these reasons, I'm always going to choose self-storage. Not to mention, you don't have tenants and toilets and things like that. You just have leases and concrete and metal and possibly something that's climate controlled. And we'll talk about climate control too. Where should you not, and the percentages that you should have. The formulas, the key performance indicators and things that you must know to make an appropriate decision. Now, when it's all said and done, you may not do it, but you'll know why you didn't do it, and you'll have the information, which I think is huge, because I'm always taking things, wanting to know how and why to see if I should. And then if you should, we can go further than that with you. And if not, then at least now you got educated and saved yourself a lot of time, money, headache, and hassle of something that you knew wouldn't be right for you. So I'd love to have you. Let me know. That's going to be the fee. It's going to be just up front, credit card or check in the mail or whatever the case may be. P.O. Box 1274, Roanoke, Texas 76262. And that's how we're going to go about this. Now, we are going to limit it because I'm going to have to get you to our storage. And two, because not knowing exactly what the limits will be with hotels and various places that this will be set up, there will be limits. So right now I'm going to say the limit is probably about 30 max. 30 max. And I'm okay if it's 10. So say between 10 and 30. So if you want to come, throw your hat in the ring and put it out there and let us know. Currently, right now it's in March. It's a little after middle March. So we got some time and some things going on here. But this is something that's not going to go away. It's now withstood 2 major recessions and watching the storage and change. Now, I will also tell you, I've also watched, actually in my coaching group, the reason they joined was to market, to get me to help market them out of trouble, out of danger, because they blindly invested a couple million into something they knew nothing about, and lost money for the whole 2.5 years they were involved until they could turn around and sell it. And so they needed some serious help. And what happens is monkey see, monkey do. Well, so-and-so did it down the street and they did fine. So we just thought we got the money. We'll pay cash and we'll build it and do fine too. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way for me, for anybody else either. You know, you really need to know, be educated. There's things to it. Even a business as straightforward and as awesome as this compared to everything else still has ins and outs that if you don't do it right, you just burn bigger and brighter as opposed to being really successful. So we don't want that for you at all. We want you to do it right. And if I tell you the rest of that story, you'll understand what a difference that makes. And so fortunately, they found us in one of the association magazines, and we were there and able to help them. So let's help you before that happens, before you put $2 million cash or something into a business that you really don't know anything about, thinking it'll be that easy and that you can just throw it on some farmland you have. It won't work, even if it's by some big city. Let's discuss that. Or if you just want to build one, well, yeah, you can build it. And like the old story says, they'll come, right? Well, maybe, but when? And then how long do you have to carry the note until they do come? And are you a great marketer? Because it takes great marketing skills. I'm blessed to be a great marketer, but most people aren't. That's not their thing. You have to decide. So we're going to discuss all these things, okay? But I encourage you to come. I think it's incredible. I think it's awesome. It's the one piece of real estate that I would not let go or not change, and always be involved in all the others. You know, there's enough pros and cons. I'm willing to go in and out and play the game, but not so much with storage. There's a reason institutional money gets into storage. And there's a reason there's some still great pockets that you should be able to get into as well. But first you need to investigate it. And that's what you're going to be doing here at the seminar. Hey, I'm Chandler George. This is Self-Storage Mastermind. You'll see a link that you can go and see a little bit more about it on the landing page, and then go ahead and start right through there. And we'll see you on the other side. I appreciate you.